Hello everybody, welcome back to our video blog here at Northeastern University. Thanks for joining us again, and I hope that you're continuing to find the topics that we cover interesting and insightful, and I hope that you'll continue to provide your feedback and your interest in the type of topics that we might cover going forward. As I sit here today, it's February 2nd, 2012, and we are in the midst of celebrating and acknowledging the 40th anniversary of Title IX, which was landmark legislation that was passed in 1972 that made it illegal for an institution that receives federal funding to discriminate on the basis of gender with respect to education. And many people have equated Title IX with athletics, and in particular collegiate athletics, because it was one of the most obvious ways that issues of discrimination could potentially be proven on a college campus and in high school for that matter, because it also applies to high schools that receive federal funding as well. But it was never really specifically intended for athletics. It was intended for education, and it's gotten most of its attention and play over the last 40 years in the world of sports. I'm certainly grateful for that legislation as someone that has really enjoyed watching women compete and play sport at the highest level, and to see how they have honed their skills, how much time and effort they put into it, how much passion and commitment they bring to it. It's really rewarding, especially now in this role as an athletic director, to be able to help support those females that are trying to reach their full potential and have a positive experience with their education and their athletics here at Northeastern. Has been terrific, and watching it around the country and around the world, obviously, is a real treat. There are, despite all the progress that's been made over the last 40 years with respect to women and girls participating in sport and getting opportunities and access, it's clear that there's still work to be done. And you'll start to hear more and more of this as folks around the country celebrate the 40 years of Title IX with symposia and conferences and articles and things that are written about the context of women's sport in particular and Title IX. One of the things that continues to be an issue that has been tracked for a number of years now through the University of Southern California and their gender and television study is that as of 2009, the percentage of women's sports covered on TV has dropped to 1.6% from a high of 8.7% in 1999. So despite the explosion of content of sport on television, on the internet, and other media, we're still seeing the trend going in the wrong direction, and that's disturbing. And I hope that the powers that be that control what gets on the air will ask themselves the questions about why that is, and not let it be strictly driven by the bottom line, but also have a social commitment to wanting to expose great women's athletics on national television and cable. The good news is that with schools having the opportunity to stream their games online, as we do with GoNU Extreme, they themselves can take responsibility for closing that gender gap, if you will, with respect to exposure, and make a point to put their teams on their streaming video to highlight their women's teams, the skill and the devotion and commitment that they're making, and also to connect with their female alumni and make sure that their parents are also feeling as though their daughters are being valued and respected. And we certainly feel that way. We're proud of what we've done over the last 5 or 6 years, where we've been televising, broadcasting our sports across the board for that period of time, and we're really proud of the progress and the leadership that we've taken with respect to our women's teams specifically, but our overall broadcast and media of our teams across the board. The other thing that's interesting is that there also is a gap still that remains in the high schools with respect to girls and their ability to participate in sport. And the studies that have been written by the National High School Athletics Association suggest that there is 1.6 less opportunities for girls to participate in sport than the boys. So they're lagging behind still, despite the fact that their population is equal to the boys in schools. And the other thing that the participation in sport by girls suggests is that they're going to earn more money over the course of their lifetime. They're going to be in professional occupations that are typically dominated by men more often, likely because they're more confident and they're more assertive, and they've learned valuable lessons about competition that allows them to thrive in that situation. And also that when girls play sports, they're more likely to increase their ability to work generally. So the study that I'm referring to by Betsy Stevenson suggests that a 10% increase in female participation in sports results in a 2% increase in the rise of female labor. So not only are we helping individuals to participate and benefit in so many ways from sport and physical activity, but we're also helping society by increasing their participation in the workforce. So I wanted to spend the entirety of this blog reminding everybody of the important work that still remains with respect to equity in higher education, in high school education, and in sport for girls in particular and young women. We are celebrating an important milestone of 40 years of Title IX legislation. We've made so much progress, but there's so much progress left to make. We know that women of color are clustered in the two main sports in college athletics, basketball and track and field, and it's all because of access and opportunity. And that if the girls in urban markets were able to get exposure to sports like field hockey and lacrosse and tennis and golf and water polo and swimming, that there's no doubt that they would take advantage and increase their participation, and hopefully it might lead to them being able to play well enough to play it in college and maybe get some of their education paid for. So still lots of work to do. I'm proud of the work that we've done here at Northeastern to provide those opportunities to our women's athletes, and we look forward to maintaining our vigilance in regard to that so that we can provide those opportunities well into the future. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Make sure that you provide us with your feedback online, on Twitter, on our website, and thank you all for tuning in, and we look forward to coming back to you again next week.